You're sitting on the edge of the couch. The room is dim. They're scrolling silently. You realize you haven't truly reached for each other in weeks. It feels heavy. It feels familiar. You start running those tired questions through your head. Why does this keep happening? Is this just what love turns into? Do I still care? Or am I just exhausted? Am I pushing them away? The distance isn't growing because your love faded. It's growing because your pursuit is quietly draining both of your nervous systems. You're not failing at love. Honestly, this isn't a sign you chose the wrong person. Every couple that has ever loved each other has stood exactly where you are right now. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to stop doing, the subtle shift that actually draws them closer, and how to turn this heavy drifting into quiet safety. Let's get into it. Most couples believe chasing means showing more love. They send extra texts. They plan more dates. They ask what is wrong until they finally force an answer. But the real truth is much quieter. When safety leaves a relationship, the love doesn't disappear. It goes underground. Your partner's nervous system reads your energy long before their mind catches up to it. What looks like coldness is usually just someone who has been emotionally flooded for so long that silence feels like the only shield they have left. And here's what nobody explains. The harder you push for reassurance, the more their biology reads your pursuit as pressure. Pressure triggers withdrawal. Withdrawal feeds panic. Panic restarts the chase cycle all over again. Not louder conversations. Not more compromising. Not scheduling a weekly relationship audit. But two people who finally feel steady enough to drop their guard for the first time in months. When you stop trying to force the connection, you give their nervous system permission to exhale. That's when the drifting actually stops. 1. The chase tax. Most people in relationships try to close the gap by doing more. They overcompensate with activity. They over-explain their feelings. But beneath the surface, your nervous system isn't craving effort. It is craving attunement. When you're exhausted from trying, your partner feels your longing as a quiet demand. And honestly, they start bracing without even realizing it. Disconnecting sounds like this. We need to talk about why you've been so distant. Connecting sounds like this. I miss you. We don't have to figure it out tonight. And when you do that, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to say a word. Something in him is quietly registering, she actually heard me this time. 2. The pause protocol. Most couples react to silence with immediate panic. They fill the quiet with questions. They fill the space with logistics. But emotional distance isn't like a sudden brick wall. It's like scar tissue that forms slowly over 100 small moments that never got repaired. When you chase, you're just sanding over the edges. You aren't healing the wound. This is where it gets really interesting. Disconnecting sounds like this. Are you mad at me? You've barely spoken today. Connecting sounds like this. You seem like you need some space tonight. I'll be in the other room if you want to join later. That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. What's moving through her is, I forgot how good it feels to not defend myself. 3. The gravity shift. And this is the one most couples never figure out. Most people in relationships mistake pursuit for passion. They think if they just try harder, the spark will return on command. But intimacy isn't built in the big dramatic moments. It's built in the 30-second ones, when you choose to turn toward instead of turning away. Your biology rewards safety. It never rewards strategy. When you pull back from the chase, you create a quiet vacuum. Nature naturally hates empty space. Disconnecting looks like constant hovering. It looks like checking their location twice an hour. Connecting looks like this. You make your own favorite dinner. You leave one plate on the counter. You walk away to read a book. That's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like a negotiation into one that feels like a refuge. You aren't manipulating their response. You're just becoming emotionally available to yourself first. 4. The unspoken mirror. Most people in relationships project their own anxiety onto their partner's withdrawal. They assume distance equals rejection. They overcompensate with intensity. Not louder conversations. Not more compromising. Not forcing deep talks at midnight. But two people who finally feel steady enough to stop performing and start being real. Your nervous system literally mirrors theirs in real time. When you calm your own pulse, theirs naturally follows suit. Here's the part most couples miss. You cannot talk someone out of a pattern they are using to survive. Disconnecting sounds like this. I feel like I'm doing all the heavy lifting. Why won't you meet me halfway? Connecting sounds like this. I know we've both been carrying a lot lately. I'm stepping back to breathe, not to leave you behind. That's when your partner stops feeling like a project to solve and starts feeling like an ally to walk beside. What's moving through them is, I can finally drop the armor. 5. The return signal. And here's what changes everything. Most people in relationships wait for the chase to yield results before they shift their approach. They keep pushing until they hit complete exhaustion. Chasing is actually a quiet form of self-abandonment. It whispers that your peace depends entirely on their reply. But when you become the anchor instead of the sail, you stop reacting to their drift and start embodying steady presence. Disconnecting sounds like this. You're pulling away again. I can't keep doing this anymore. Connecting sounds like this. I'm right here whenever you're ready. Until then, I'll focus on my own world. That's the exact moment they realize you aren't leaving. You're waiting. And that quiet certainty pulls them back faster than any argument ever could. This isn't a communication hack. This is just what two emotionally mature people naturally do when they learn to love without losing themselves in the process. When you internalize this, you stop reacting to their distance and start responding from your own center. Your partner will feel the shift before you've even said another word. These aren't tips for managing a better relationship. They are the beginning of becoming the kind of partner you always wanted someone to be for you. You aren't just changing a habit. You are changing the entire emotional gravity of your life together. The relationship you want starts the exact moment you stop waiting for it to get easier and decide to become what makes it stronger.